because it was a Friday. It was after the Juma Kupa, and it was the day the movie Juice came out. Okay,
Yeah,
I was
Juice.
impressed to see Juice.
What day did you say that was?
I was a hip hop head. I was partial to the East Coast, but you know, I listened to everything. But I was waiting for Juice to come out. I'm like, I'm going to see it that day, the first day it comes out. I'm going to see it, right? So, alhamdulillah, I took my shahada on that day. Now, I didn't see Juice till about a few weeks later. Now, I'll tell you why I didn't get to see it that day. But first, let me go back a little bit, because this is the journey through Islam. I'm going to say a little bit about my journey to Islam and how I got to that point. So I'm not going to go too far back. I just want to hit on a few points, though. I know we're not supposed to reveal our sins and things of our past life, but for the sake, some information is important, I think, because it really helps to illustrate, where we came from, and maybe able to inspire somebody else or whatever. But so I was rather young. I was a senior in high school at Northwestern High School. I was 17 when I took my shot. I just turned 17 in December. That year, that was the year. Well, first of all, I grew up as an Episcopalian Christian, but not really practicing. I mean, we don't really like real church-going people. My father passed. I was 10. So I was there with my brother, my sister, my mother. But probably around 15, I got a hold of a book called From the Broader Five by Anthony T. Browder. And this is kind of an introductory book to, knowledge of self, and black consciousness, and that kind of thing. So this was a very Afrocentric time, of course. Early 90s, X-Clan, Pete, Public Enemy, Brand Nubians, all of that. So, we had all that going on. I had a little bit of consciousness about myself. But at the same time, I was young, So I was in high school, and I was involved, little peer pressure that get to you. So I was, I was never really out there like that. But I grew up in the hood, right here on 12th Street, and most of my friends they hustled, making that money, and for the most part, I was cool. But my thing was, I kind of drank a lot. I was out there kind of drinking a lot. Not a lot like where I had a problem or anything. Just like any other teenager, getting it in, maybe like not any other teenager, but you know how it is. And you go to the store, and you try to find somebody that's over 18, give them a little bit of money, and they get you the wine coolers and 40 ounce and all that stuff. And the reason why is I feel that Islam possibly could have really, really saved me, even though I didn't have any kind of real alcoholic problem or anything like that. My father was an alcoholic, and alcoholism led to his death. I know that I have an addictive personality. I have an addictive trait. Coffee is my thing now. You know what I'm saying? Coffee and sweets. I would say that's much safer than the other thing. And alhamdulillah, so when I took my shahada, cold turkey. I didn't drink anymore. Never ate any more pork. I didn't give up everything. It was a process. It was a gradual process to move on and to cut other things out. But let me not go too far off. So there you know where I'm at there. So in high school, senior year, like I said, I wasn't too far out there, but I was involved in I was hustling a little bit. I wasn't hustling the crack cocaine, but the other stuff that they're trying to make legal now, right? You don't know what that is. So, so we got a few youth in here. I don't know how real y'all want me to keep it. So when you're in high school and you're selling your stuff and everything, it's kind of competitive. You want to have the best little stuff. So, hey, best product. There you go. So I had a friend. Another senior in high school in Northwestern, and he was Muslim. He was Muslim, and he used to hang out with some college kids and stuff like that. And we were both kind of into the same kind of stuff, even though he was Muslim, right? I wasn't Muslim, but all right. Also, our senior year of high school, all the English classes had to read the autobiography of Malcolm X. Again, this was the year of the X. The movie hadn't come out yet. But you know, it was, the promo for that movie was like a year before the movie came out. X hats, all that. People's, you know, X shirts, all of that. So we read the autobiography of Malcolm X. We had to, senior project kind of thing. I couldn't put that book down. Couldn't put it down. That was the first, probably, like I mentioned, the other book from the Browder File. Probably the first book I had read since that book, which was 2 years prior. You know, unless it was mandatory required for school. But you know, we had required like readings to read over a course of. I was reading it. I was just reading it. I was like, oh, we're not supposed to read 1, 2, 3. I'm just gonna keep going. You know, I couldn't put it down. You know, I was on the bus reading it, walking to school reading it, on the toilet reading it. I mean, you know, I couldn't put that book down. So alhamdulillah. So the thing is, so hanging out with my boy, my friend. Now we be on the bus or whatever. And you know how Detroit is, you know, Muslims and grassroots Muslim brothers, you know, brothers on the bus selling incense, selling oil, selling this, selling that. So now in retrospect, I didn't know what was going on then. But we're on the bus and he run into some Muslims and he's like, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah. You know, I didn't know what. I'm like, what are they talking about, man? Like, but it was kind of impressive, you know. I was like, so what does that mean? What are y'all saying? What does that mean, you know? So it was a blessing, though, that as I was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X, every now and then I could bounce questions off to my friend who was Muslim, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, so what happened here, or what does this mean when this? So that was kind of cool. So there you go. That's number one. There was another friend of mine, too. It was kind of 3 of us, and we all kind of hung out. We were all kind of in the same thing. And my other friend also, we were both interested in learning more about Islam, especially since our other friend, our other buddy, was Muslim. So anyway, the thing is back to the little hustling, little small time hustling we was doing. He had what he thought might be a little connect, or maybe a connect to to, you know, get some better product. So some of the college boys that he hung out with from Wayne State, he knew somebody there. I think he knew someone there in that little college clique that knew somebody. So he was going to try to hook me up with that guy so I could get. So it was kind of killing two birds with one stone. Now I know this sounds crazy, but it's like I want to meet your college crew because I want to learn more about this Islam, but also want to get some information from your homie who got some information about this product too. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, we were young. You know, we were young. So this was our thing. So one day we went over there, met some of the brothers. Met the one brother in particular who, you know, got his number. We were going to talk and connect on that stuff there. But then some of the other brothers who weren't really involved with that, you know, that was just this one brother in particular. That was his thing. But the other brothers, they was cool, and they was college Muslims or whatever. So they gave me some dawah. They gave us some dawah. Me and my friend, they gave us some dawah and stuff like that. So this was like, you know, this was one day after school. We skipped our 7th and 8th hour. We went up with them. So they left. No, my one friend left. The other one who was seeking information about Islam, he had to go. I was able to stay for a little while longer. It was almost Maghrib. Well, what was Maghrib? I didn't know what Maghrib was then. But most other brothers, they had to go to class. So it ended up just being like me, a couple other brothers, and actually Kafani. Because Kafani was one of those college brothers. So Kafani invited me to go to the masjid because he was on his way to the mosque, which was in the Wayne State area, to make salat, which was going to be Maghrib at that time. Like I said, I didn't know what any of this stuff was. I had never been in the masjid, just started reading all the biography of Malcolm X, just being interested in getting more information about the deen. So I walked down to the masjid with him. We got to make this ablution. So he taught me how to make wudu, taught me how to make the ablution. Then we go into, you got to take your shoes off. Well, we already had shoes off for ablution. So we go into the masjid, and there's a few other brothers, and then he calls the adhan. He calls the adhan, the most beautiful thing I ever heard.
La ilaha illallah.
Most beautiful. I had the most tranquil and peaceful feeling over me that I've ever felt in my life.
No,
up to that point, up to those short 17 years. So I just sat, watched them make salat. I was like, SubhanAllah. blown away. So our brother Kafani, he gave me a book called The Elementary Teachings of Islam. He said in that book, if some of you all are familiar with it, it's real simple, basic stuff. But it had diagrams on how to make wudu, really thorough over the basics of the deen. And he said, this is what you do, read this book. He was conditioning me, right? Now that I look back, he said, every day, just follow the diagram, make wudu, make ablution every day. That's it. Just keep reading, learn about Islam. He wanted me to make a wudu every single day, at least once. That's what he asked me to do. So alhamdulillah. So I did it. I was reading through the books. I mean, there's a lot of Arabic work. I mean, it was transliteration. It wasn't in Arabic, but still, I was like, naful, you know what I'm saying, and all these, different stuff. I was trying to pronounce it, whatever. But yeah, it had the Fatiha in there. It had some of the short surahs in there, and everything. But I was just reading it slowly or whatever. So probably after about 2 weeks. We went to, he invited us to Juma. He said, you should come to Juma one day. And Juma, it's at about 1:30. We're in high school, so we're like, we're just going to have to leave school early, skip class again. It was kind of a short day for us anyway, because if you remember, senior in high school, a lot of times, you finish most of your classes, you might just have school might be over at 5th hour, or you might have PE your last hour, or whatever. So it's our final semester in high school, whatever. So, we went to Juma at Wayne State at Cass. So we went to Juma. By this time, I pretty much, mentally, I knew that I was going to take my shot. I knew I was going to be Muslim eventually. I wasn't going to Juma with the intention to take my shot. All right. This was a few weeks later, after the first time I had gone to the masjid. So we go to the masjid. Kafani's there, some of the other college brothers. It was me, my friend, the other brother who was seeking Islam information, and my friend who invited me, who was already Muslim. So we went there after the Juma. Our other brother, very charismatic brother, named Hassan Mausi, who's known for giving shahadas, right? So I had already met him. He knew we were interested in Islam. We were there. So after it was over, everybody giving salams, whatever. It's the 5 pillars. These are articles of faith. You ready? Raise your hand. Raise your finger. Repeat after me. I was just like, man, it was just like a car salesman almost. You know what I'm saying? But I could have. I mean, my will. I was strong-willed enough to say I'm not ready, but I knew I was really ready. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I wasn't. I knew within my heart that I was going to do it eventually. So I was just like, well, this is how it's going to go down. This is how it's going to go down. So alhamdulillah, took my shahada right then and there. Me and the other brother took our
Takbir.
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 So I always say those two brothers are very instrumental. And then the other brother who introduced me, who gave me my name. That's another thing about my name. So a lot of people call me Brian because of Facebook. Say Brian Karim is my Facebook name. I prefer Karim, Abdul Karim, because that's my Muslim name. I never changed my name legally, but I keep and maintain Brian because I can't use it professionally and outside of my Muslim circle. A lot of times, I just go with it. But he gave me that name actually, Rashid. But this brother, I don't know why. He just said, I'm gonna start calling you Abdul Karim. He just gave me that name and it just stuck. So that's how I got my name. So alhamdulillah. So that's that's how I came to Islam. So but so from that point forward, graduated out of high school, rolling with the brothers. We were kind of considered like the hip hop Muslims because we was involved with modeling with Maurice Malone and other things, whatever. Other things. So anyway, so this time, here's another thing to know. I was in high school, I was just an average student. Man. I wasn't I was always smart, but I wasn't really taking it seriously. I wasn't focused really. Islam focused me. My last semester in high school were my best grades throughout high school. And again, this was the year of X, Spike Lee, School Days. I was a big fan of school days. I was a big fan of different world. So I started thinking about colleges, you know, and I wanted to, so I think I want to get out of Detroit, you know. I want to go somewhere, you know, like I said, I was a hip-hop head, partial to the East Coast, so I started looking at HBCUs. I was looking at Clark Atlanta University, I was really particularly looking at Howard. And then, unfortunately, she's not here, and she may not even know this, but our sister Piper Carter, she indirectly had an influence on me because we both graduated from Northwestern. She graduated 2 years before me, and she went to Howard University. And she would come back from Howard for the summers, during the summer or whatever, and she just come back with that Howard swag and DC stuff and Howard stuff. It was just, so I was like, yeah, I gotta go to HU, man. Now my grades were not good enough to get accepted to HU, to Howard, coming out of high school. So I just, I sat out a semester in January. I decided to go to 13th grade. I call it 13th grade. that's Wayne County Community College. That's what I called it at the time. That's what I called it at the time. Because I was like, man, this ain't nothing but high school. This you know what I'm saying? Like, people was playing cards, doing it. I was like, man. But it was cool. I mean, you know, I stayed at Wayne County Community College for like 3 semesters, got my grades up, my GPA up, applied at Howard University. Now, I eventually got accepted. I don't know if I got accepted for my grades. Now, there was another brother of mine. He wasn't part of the high school experience that I was talking about, but he had eventually become Muslim. We actually worked together at Blockbuster. He was going towards the nation. I was like, nah, kid. You know, I was like, nah, kid, you want to come? This is the real right here, you know, kind of thing. And alhamdulillah, he took a shahada. We were both into the same field, same interest and stuff. So we got really cool, got really close, and we decided to go to Howard, you know, at the same time. Like, let's go, let's leave Detroit, go to Howard University together or whatever. So we applied to Howard at the same time. And what happened was we were waiting for this acceptance letter or acceptance call, and we was real impatient. So we would call in the admissions office every single day. I mean, we probably called every single day for about a month or longer. I mean, it was supposed to take a certain amount of time, but after we didn't hear anything for like a couple months, we just kept calling. Just kept calling, because everybody in the admissions office knew our names, right? So eventually, we got an acceptance letter. It was like, alhamdulillah, like even our student ID number was 1 digit off. Like I remember, I think it was like 106456, his was 106457, whatever. So that joint would be like a convict number, so you don't remember it. You got to use that number for everything. See? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so we went to we went to Howard University. This is 1994, January 1994. We got to Howard. Let me speed this up a little bit, but real quick. When we got to Howard University, January 1994, we're in school. I can remember I told you I ain't cut out everything. Cut out alcohol, cut out pork. But there was still a few other vices I still was struggling with. You know, as an 18, 19-year-old young man. So now we off to college, like Howard University. It's like the party school, HBCU, right? So we're in there. This is January. We didn't start in September. We started in January. The spring, what they call the spring semester. We had 1 week of classes. It was a big, not really a big snowstorm, but a snow ice storm. When DC gets, Malia knows, DC gets a little ice, a little bad weather, the city shuts down. They can't handle it. So we didn't have school like almost all week, in classes all week. So it was cool. We stayed in an off-campus dorm near downtown, and it was what do you call it? Unisex. So what do you call it? Co-ed. It's co-ed dorm. So we got real cool. So that allowed us to get real cool with the people in our building, though, because we had it was like the city was shut down. We couldn't really go nowhere. So people got cabin fever. You had to it's going crazy, you know. So my boys down the hall, they was barbers, Wink and T. They dorm was hooked up. It was like half of it they had the beds, and then the other half it was a barber shop. I mean, they had real barber chairs. Everybody in the building went there, $5 haircuts. You know, and people came from other dorms. But so Wink and T lived on our floor, so we used to go down there. So basically, that was the barber shop and the smoke spot. Okay, so you know, that whole week. I think Boys in the Hood or Men's Society had come on tape. Not, you know, sometimes like every day. That's what we do. We go down there and watch Men's Society. Like it was like every single day for 3 or 4 days, and you know, do our thing. You know. Now we were Muslim though, so they was like, these some cool Muslims though. They, you know. Now when I think back about it, it's like it's crazy. It's like stuff a lot, you know. Because sometimes they come down to get us and we're like, well, we got to make salat first. We'll be down there in 5 minutes. We got to pray. Because we're still praying.
Allah Akbar.
So we make salat, and we go down there and do our thing. And sometimes doing our thing, then we get into conversations and discussions about, you know, deen, giving dawah. So I mentioned that because even through that experience with a number of those brothers in the dorm that congregated down there at that barbershop or whatever, 2, if not 3 of them eventually took their shahada.
Talk big.
Now, you know, people come in and out of the deen. Sometimes, you know, only Allah makes Muslims, Allah keeps Muslims. You know, like one of them in particular that I know, you know, he's like kind of like my best friend. I keep in touch with him to this day. He's got 2 children. They're almost grown, almost 18. He's lived over in Saudi Arabia, teaching English, learned Arabic, has a shed, you know, between Saudi and Jordan, doing really well, you know. And he didn't, we planted the seed. He had other circumstances over the summer when he left that just kind of moved him closer to Islam. But he definitely told us, he said, y'all definitely had an influence on me, you know, on some of the other brothers, you know. So alhamdulillah, so I just mentioned that. But yeah, so, you know, I had some really good experience at Howard. The cool thing about that is that, you know, whenever you can, Islam, you know, has a different feel and flavor in different cities you go to, you know. You know, I was used to one community, not really one community, we have a lot of different jamaats here and stuff like that. But then there, you know, it was really at the height of the whole Salafi, Wahhabi kind of domination. So I had to deal with that. You know, I came into the Islam in the first night, later on that night, the reason why I didn't see juice because I was in the liquor circle, you know, that night, you know, and I was in that liquor circle impatient because I didn't have supper at all at that time, right? You know, that's like a new concept in Islam for the most part. So I was like, this is going to be over. I'm trying to see juice. Like, it's 8 o'clock now, you know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I never did get to see the movie. But alhamdulillah, I spent that day, you know, remembering Allah, getting to know Allah a little bit more. But, so at Howard University, make a long story short, I didn't graduate. It was very expensive. I wasn't there on a scholarship. I just wanted the experience away from home. But I worked at an African-American Islamic bookstore called Pyramid Bookstore. But I met a sister there. We were friends. We eventually got married. I left Howard. She left Howard. Different circumstances, but we both left Howard. She had cousins that lived here in Detroit that she had known. She just met like a year before we started getting married. And I knew who those cousins were. I had known them since I became Muslim. It's just a small world. It's funny how it's just deep how it worked out that way. So she moves here and moves in with her cousins. I had moved back because I left Howard. We got intended and we got married here in Detroit. That was 1999. Right here in the Muslim Center. Not here, the old Muslim Center, before any of this
Wow.
was
Oh, the bank.
any of this was built in the back. That's right. Yeah, because Kafani was in Africa during that time. I do have to mention that too because I had left Howard and come back here, but every semester while I was at Howard University was a struggle for me, like financially. If you couldn't pay your bill, I wasn't there on a scholarship. It was about 5 or 6 G's a semester. I was just trying to, you know, student loans. And if you didn't pay your bill every semester by halfway into the semester, if it wasn't paid, they purge you. You out. You might spend the whole half of the semester and then it'd be for nothing. That's the word I was trying to think of. Validated. That was the magic word. Are you validated? You validated? I ain't validated. I'm gonna get purged. So my first semester there too. Again, like I was saying, it was a little off the chain. You know, I was still kind of, like I said, I had my vices. I struggled with it. and I didn't do well. I was on academic probation, so I came back and I'm like, man, I didn't do all this to get kicked out of Howard. So actually, it was that summer when I came home, I got a lot more serious about the dean and discipline. So when I went back, I really cut out a lot. I cut out all that other stuff. That's when I retired from that activity. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so being there, at one time I couldn't get validated. It was too much of a struggle. I was like, and there was a lot of sad sob stories, like there were people who had to leave. They just had to go back home, wherever they was from. You had people from everywhere, California, Jamaica, Trinidad, New York. Just met people from everywhere, man. So I had to go back home. I had to come back to Detroit. I said, but I'll be back. I'm coming back, man. Coming back. You ain't coming back. I'm coming back. So I came back, worked. I had an opportunity to go to synagogue. Check out the synagogue. Kafani had already been in synagogue, so I wanted to see him. I wanted to see the Sheikh. I had an opportunity to go. I worked, saved up money, got my passport. In 1995, I went. I was going to go for 3 weeks. I also lined all my stuff up to go back to Howard in that January '96. So alhamdulillah, and Allah let the plan go through. Went to synagogue, stayed 2 or 3 weeks, about 3 weeks. Came back, was here for about a week. Went to D.C., back to Howard, January 1996. Big blizzard of '96. I'll never forget. Snow was up to here. I went from 100-degree weather, then a week later, it was like snow up to here. So anyway, I kind of went back and forth there. But so Howard's finished. I came back here. We got married. That's 1999. We had our daughter, first daughter here. And but we both, we hadn't graduated from college, and we still wanted to finish school. So it was kind of a struggle. Like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to still have to transfer our credits and try to get back into college and go to school? Now I got a family, and it was just like, man. She had her father. She had family in North Carolina, so we started looking at some schools in North Carolina, and we were like, yeah, we can live there. It's a public school, so it's much cheaper than Howard, but it's still an HBCU. This was North Carolina A&T State University. So it's like, yeah, we can still stay do the HBCU thing, but it'd be cheaper, much cheaper than Howard was, because we can just be, we can be residents in North Carolina or whatever. So eventually, we did that. I still had a lot of money to pay Howard. They would not release my transcripts. I owed some thousands, and I wasn't able to transfer. So I had to just continue to work. So my wife at the time, she it was more of a green light for her to go, so she went. I had a whole bunch. I had a big old bill I had to pay off. So she alhamdulillah, she went, she graduated. By that time, we kind of worked out a plan to pay my thing off so I could get into school. So I got into school. And over the course of this time, we had another daughter in North Carolina. So alhamdulillah. So this is 2004. I get my credit, I pay off Howard, they transfer most of my credits, 48 hours out of 60 credit hours. Not bad. So we get there to, so I transfer, get accepted in North Carolina A&T. After that, that's September 2004. Like December, my wife gets pregnant. But she didn't just get pregnant. So we get pregnant again, okay. So this is with my son. So it was just a struggle. Struggle was a burden financially. It was just so I didn't think I could swing it. I had to work. I had to make money. Like, okay, now here comes another one. So I decided to leave school again. Left school, worked, sales, car dealership, this, that. I just hustled, just whatever. And I'm determined. I'm like, I gotta finish this. I gotta finish what I started. That kind of thing. So eventually we have our son, June 2004. Then maybe a year later, or half a year later, so maybe it was around 2006, I guess. I was able to get back into school. Alhamdulillah, then I was able to finish in 2009. So
Talk big.
I was on 15-year plan. I don't know what that is. Yeah.
You did it.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, I did it. So, that's another lesson to take, especially for the young, for the youth. It's really important for us to finish what we start. And I know I've struggled with that a lot in the past, not just with college work. So that's an important skill set for us to have, to finish and to complete things that we start. And I believe even it's a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad about being consistent with stuff. So I mean that's really my story. Anybody have any questions or comments or anything I can clear up? Did I go too long? Did I go too short? Sure. How many Muslims along the way that
Took
took
Shahada.
Shahada? Man, let me tell you. When Hassan Mauzi around between the years of 1992 and 1996 or 7, man, I mean, dozens.
Sister, well, let's put it this way. I used to keep a roster of it before I went to Africa. There were 100 of us.
I knew it was at least 100.
In 1990 or 91, someone took Shahada at Wayne State Mosque every Juma to the point where they asked us, "Why are you bringing so many people to the mosque yet?"
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were. We went hard, as they say. Like we'd be downtown Belle Isle. We was kind of like the backpack Muslims back then. Too. The whole hip hop vibe, right? So we have our Salat run.
Drop Salat anywhere.
Belle Isle, you like, yo, it's time Salat. Bam. We'd be 2-3 rows deep.
One time we dropped Salat in the middle of Jefferson,
Yeah.
on the grass area.
Yeah. We didn't have the Islamophobia back then as we have today. That's really deep, man. Because I remember being at the Renaissance Center a few times, man. Just find a little secluded area. People look at you strange and wonder kind of what you're doing, but it's deep how the climate has changed, man, with the fear of Islam and how the media and other factors have affected how people perceive Muslims.
See, as far as that change in the perception, like you said, around the time when you were becoming Muslim, Malcolm X was coming out, and it was just like a lot of black conscious movements going on. So a lot of African Americans were leaning towards something more conscious. Nowadays, I know, even in the African American community, not Muslims, but we're finding more Islamophobia even in there. Where before that it wasn't, because of movements and Malcolm X and things like that, it wasn't as much. But even nowadays, amongst African Americans, these days, they're even becoming a little bit more apprehensive, or a little bit more. Where before it was more like, even if everybody knew somebody at least who was a Muslim, and it was always something very respected. Like it was like, there was a certain amount of respect to it. But nowadays it's more just that's just my perception.
No, that's true. I've had some conversations about that. And I think particularly the sisters feel that, even more so. Maybe that's why it's coming from the sisters, because I've heard a few sisters kind of, talk about that, and definitely back then in that day, there's a lot more respect. Now, brothers see sisters with each other, and they start trying to bully and talk about terrorists and she gonna bomb you or whatever.
Hey.
This kind of stuff. So that's a deep point, an interesting point, man. A lot of people don't realize that. I've had a couple conversations about that recently.
For being in the media, like what you've been doing video, my question was take for instance, it was a blessing that most people don't say about it now, but hip hop and Islam, you can almost say the religion of hip hop was Islam for us, like back in there, because we had poor righteous teachers. We had what's his name, King Son, a lot of people, and they purported some type of Islam. Big Daddy Kane, and all of them, but we didn't have the media they had today. We read more.
Right.
So what do you think, like, take for instance, with the youth of today, and because of their music actually not having any kind of sense or religious purpose or anything, how do you think we can capture the hearts of the youth of today, especially with you dealing with media and everything?
You know, I think we really have to. I was thinking about this. Actually, I was even talking to some youth recently about this. We have to educate them, man. You know, that's why it's so important for us to know our history. We always say we have to, you know, anything, like, we have to understand even in the 90s, we had to understand the history from the 70s and the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Because we all come from our previous generations. They birthed us. You know what I'm saying? So this new generation, that's whatever we want to say about them, they're part of us. We birthed them. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is how I explained it to these teenagers the other day. I said, you know, we started this. Like, our generation, we were Generation X. Like, the people who are my generation, we're Generation X. I mean, they called us X, and it was like, we don't know who that. They all know. You know what I'm saying? But we were the hip-hop generation. So it was a drastic change of the music and the culture. So we kind of established that foundation, right? So, I mean, that was the beginning of rap and hip-hop culture and hip-hop music and hip-hop swag and all that stuff, right? So this new generation, I mean, they're inspired by the same things. You know what I mean? They got their own fashion, their own dances, but it's still all rap. It might be whack, we might call it whack, you know what I'm saying? But it's still rap. I mean, I'm just saying, some of us who, you know, but so I try to, like, you know, without dissing their stuff, without dissing their stuff, still try to connect them to the classics, you know what I'm saying, to the people, to the pioneers and the people who, you know, established it. You know, try to make some kind of connection with the past and exposure of some of that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of times, you know, the youth, they see adults. Think about it when you were young, like when we were young. At 17, you thought somebody 27, 28 was old. You know what I'm saying?
Super grown.
You know, you're like, oh, I don't even really want you around me because, you know, this is my world and that's your world. Now I'm 41 now, you know what I'm saying? So 40, 41 and you're 17, 18-year-olds, they really don't want you around. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they think you don't understand their struggle. They think you don't, you know, whatever. I'm like, and a lot of our music was worse than yours in a lot of ways.
Thank you.
Listen to Ghetto Boys.
Thank
Let me
you.
hear press play.
Too short.
Let me here's 2 Live Crew.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank
I
you.
mean, listen to some of that stuff, man, was worse than what they got out here, man. You know what I'm saying? But when you expose, if you just keep it real with them and you expose them to some of that stuff, kind of sometimes I think a light bulb, you know, like, oh, really? Like, man, y'all stuff was worse than us. Like, you know, it brings a certain kind of respect. And because it brings a certain kind of respect, that can help to establish a line of communication, you know, to where they'll listen and take something from us. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the big struggle, I think, with youth, man, is that they look at you as old and they just want to reject anything that you say. You know what I'm saying? Because they just want to, that is usually how it is. You know, you kind of reject your parents or people, you know, you look at them as old fogies or whatever, they don't understand. But I kind of understand that with our, you know, some of the previous generations because there was big drastic differences between those generations, you know what I'm saying? Our generation is really not that
They're
much
close.
different. You know what I'm saying? They're both connected by hip-hop and rap culture, you know? So that's how I feel about it.
Do you feel the media itself, like, take for instance, I was speaking to one of my nephews and he always asked me a question. He came to me and he asked me the definition of something. And I said, man, go read a dictionary. I was like agitated. I used to answer him. He was like, dictionary, what is that? I was like, well, you go to find words to know the meaning. He said, I don't need to go to a dictionary. I go to Google. So, you know.
Yeah, know what I mean? Like, and that's really what I've been doing lately. Like, I try to remember how the older generation looked at us, right? You know what I'm saying? They really thought we was just like, they thought we was just
Worse.
no good, the worst was not, you know, they thought we was totally lost.
Worse.
You know what I'm saying? Totally lost. And in a lot of ways we were. But, you know, you get a little older, you get more mature, and, you know, you get right. Law makes it what it is, man. Brings it together. But, you know, like, no, some of y'all may or may not know, like, I was telling this to my daughter recently, you know, you don't, say, I think, what is the cortex? Central cortex, cerebral cortex? I don't know. Something in your brain, that part in your brain, maybe the cerebral cortex, that part in your brain that helps you to make sound decisions, logical, mature decisions. It's not fully developed until you're 25, you know? So it's a very dangerous and delicate and slippery slope, you know, in those latter teen and early 20 years. That's why we see so many people just throwing their life away. One stupid decision because they wasn't thinking. You know, one simple decision can drastically change your life. Why did I was saying that? But I forgot the point I was trying to make. But yeah, you know, it's just that's why it's important for us to have a connection to the youth, man, because you know sometimes they're just not thinking clearly or all the way in a mature, logical way. And so we've gone through that phase. We got to 25 and got older, so now you know we know better and we're able to think better, and so we gotta like stay with them, man. We gotta like stay close to them and try to coach them. You know, that's the thing. We gotta try to coach and mentor them.
And mentor them.
You know what I'm saying? Without judging them and rejecting their stuff, even if we have our own opinions of it. You know, to try inshallah, to try to